Okay, we weren't learning for a few days. I was away. Anyway, we need to start learning at least the laws of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot, because they're coming up. Okay, so Svardim we know start saying Slichos a whole month of Elul. Ashkenazim start officially the week before Rosh Hashanah. It's not the week before Rosh Hashanah. You have to start, this is the whole Ashkenazic world, by the way. Slichos starts on a Saturday night. Because one of the beginning Slichos is B'Metzoi Menucha, which is the... Now, halachically, because it's still Shabbos, ideally you can't say Slichos Saturday night until halachic midnight. Now, there's a lot of people today are makel, they won't get a minyan, so they make it 10 o'clock or whatever it is. But halachically, you're really supposed to wait until after halachic midnight, which is approximately 1 o'clock, and you have to say Slichos for at least 4 days. Why do we have to say Slichos for 4 days? So there's 2 reasons brought down in halacha. One reason is because the din was when you had an animal for a korban, you had to check it out 4 days, like by the korban Pesach. Shem said on the 10th day of the month, take the seh, tie it to your bed, and on the 14th, 4 days later, you're going to be in a korban Pesach. So an animal needed 4 days for bikur of a mum. So the whole union of Slichos is an internal examination to find our internal blemishes. So you at least have 4 days of Slichos. Now this year where Rosh Hashanah is Tuesday and Wednesday, so you would only have Sunday and Monday. So therefore we start a whole week before. So not this Saturday night, Mitzvah next Motzei Shabbos, Parshas Kisavei, then we start saying Saturday night Slichos for the whole week, plus again Sunday and Monday. Another reason why it says you're supposed to wait 4 days, because many people like to fast the Simei Tshuva, but 4 days you're not allowed to fast. You're not allowed to fast to do the days of Rosh Hashanah, Shabbos Shuvah, and Erev Yom Kippur. So to make up for that, they say Slichos at least 4 days. That's the 2 reasons why we say Slichos. Okay, Erev Rosh Hashanah. So again, covering major things because there's not enough time to go into every detail. Now, even though the whole month of Elul we're blowing Shofar, but yet Erev Rosh Hashanah we don't blow Shofar. It says in halacha you don't blow Shofar. Why you don't blow Shofar? It says again in halacha 2 reasons. One reason is that to differentiate between the biblical Shofar of Rosh Hashanah versus the customary blowing of Elul. Elul is a minhag. Somebody in fact called me today if can a kid under bar mitzvah blow in Elul for the shul? So in a tzibur it's not right. I mean, granted it's only a minhag, but you know Elul is Elul. You blow shofar and adults should be not that it's halachically wrong, but it's not right that a kid should blow shofar for a shul, even though it's the month of Elul. That's one reason. Another reason, which is seemingly a strange reason, is to mix up the satan, that he hears blowing shofar a whole month. Now this day he doesn't hear. He said, okay, Rosh Hashanah is over. Now you don't have what to prosecute about. That's what it says in halacha. So the obvious question is, how stupid do you think the satan is? What do you think, the satan can't take a look in the calendar? He can't see when Rosh Hashanah is? I mean, every year you're going to keep fooling him. Like, what is what is this expression, that he thinks Rosh Hashanah passed already? What does it mean? So the Rebbe once explained it very interestingly. It doesn't mean the Satan shouldn't know when Rosh Hashanah is. When the Satan sees that a whole month of Elul, the Jews blew Shofar. Shofar is, as the Rambam says, the concept of tshuva, wake up from your sleep, Uru Yeshenim Yishenaschem, wake up from your slumber and your sleep, and wake up and you'll smell the coffee, like they say, get there going doing tshuva. So the Satan sees a whole month they blew shofar to awaken themselves, and now Erev Rosh Hashanah they're not blowing. The Satan says 1 minute, they don't need it anymore. They're good, they're perfect. They don't even need shofar today. So then the Satan says, the Satan means the Satan not to mix them up that he doesn't know when Rosh Hashanah is. It means you mix up the Satan that he says the Jews are perfect already. there's nothing for me to come to prosecute, so he won't come to prosecute. That's the concept why we don't blow Erev Rosh Hashanah. Also, Erev Rosh Hashanah, we do our Torahs from Nidorim. Nullify the vow. Why do we do it Erev Rosh Hashanah, nullification of vows? Because people make a lot of vows. I swear, you know. And you don't want to start the new year with a bunch of vows on her head. So you do what's called a Torahs and Nidorim. Now, Torahs and Nidorim, ideally, you have to do in front of a Bais Din. So normally you need at least a group of 4. 3 people sitting as a Bais Din, 1 person nullifying his vows, so you have a group of 4. But halacha says it's preferable to have a minyan. To have a minyan, to be matin neder in front of a minyan. The halacha brings that down. What's interesting about the Bais Din of Torahs and Nidorim is an interesting halacha. Normally on a Bais Din, you can't have any relatives. You can't have 2 brothers-in-law, 2 cousins sitting on a Bais Din. Unless, if it's not an official Bais Din, it's what's called Zabla, both parties agree to these rabbis, then, if you accept them, it's fine. But normally, a relative, a biblical relative, is not allowed to sit on a Bais Din with another relative. You can't have 2 brothers in a Bais Din. Yet, to nullify the vows, the din is you can even have relatives. It's not a real Bais Din. So you can even have 2 or 3 brothers nullifying the vow for their father. You know what I mean? It's that's not an issue. Okay. Okay. Next, Erev Rosh Hashanah, you're supposed to give what? Yom Kippur, what's interesting. Erev Rosh Hashanah, we're nullifying the vows of the past. Women, some women do it, by the way. The brain gets brought down in halacha that the husbands do it for them, they include them. Even single girls, it's not appropriate for women to get up in front of a Bais Din and do things like that. So, I know. But the minig is that in halacha, that you don't find this in the more liberal communities, women do it. But normally they don't do it because it is whoever their bashart will be takes care of it for them. No, whatever. If a woman has a private vow, she can go be matuneded. Okay, you're supposed to give a lot of tzedakah every Rosh Hashanah. What? To do a Torahs and Nidorim every Rosh Hashanah, no. But if they made a vow during the year and they want to break it, they have to do a Torahs and Nidorim. They have to sit down in front of 3, rabbis and do it. Okay, now there's a very strong minute to go to the mikveh at Rosh Hashanah. People have a minute of going to a cemetery at Rosh Hashanah to pray for that. Deceased people should be not intermediaries, but they should just be, as in Yiddish, the good to better. They should be good advocate. You're not davening to the dead people. You're davening that the dead people should intercede in your behalf to Hashem. Now it's also brought down that Erev Rosh Hashanah, because we're starting a new year, it's appropriate the person should accept upon himself like a stricter observance that he didn't do in the previous year. People wear new clothes. In fact, it's brought down, you're supposed to take haircuts and cut your nails and go to mikveh and wear Shabbos. The Torah brings down that Erev Rosh Hashanah, Leifshim Levanim, Mesatrim Levanim, white garments was the choshev thing. He writes that you do all those things because, listen to this, he says, because we're certain, if you think about it, the Rosh Hashanah is a big court case. Not a court case for money, it's a court case about life and death. Mi yechia mi yomus. So nevertheless, the Torah brings down, a Jew is so certain that Hashem is going to give us a good year. We're dressing already Yom Tov because we're certain that Hashem is going to give us a good year. There's a very interesting, beautiful verse of the Berditchever. He says, Yom Tov shel Rosh Hashanah shel Chol Yis b'Shabbos. He says, simply means when Yom Tov Rosh Hashanah falls out on Shabbat, you don't blow shofar. But he says, Yom Tov Shel Rosh Hashanah, it's a good year of Rosh Hashanah when it falls out on Shabbos. Why? Because we say, I don't know if the Sfardim say it, but in the Sanatayka we say, but Rosh Hashanah, the Gemara says this, but Rosh Hashanah Yikasevun, and Rosh Hashanah Hashem writes it either into good books or bad books, and Yom Kippur He seals it. Now, we know, the Gemara says Hashem keeps the mitzvahs. Magid Varov Liyakov, Chukov, Umishpatav, whatever He commands us to do, Hashem Himself does. Now the din is, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Tov, you're not allowed to write. So the Riddichever said, how does God write in the books on Rosh Hashanah when you're not allowed to write? So he said like this, to write in the book of life, you're allowed to pikuach nefesh. Saving the life of a Jew, you're allowed to desecrate Yom Tov and Shabbos. To write us in the negative books, that Hashem's not allowed to write. Because you're not allowed to write in Rosh Hashanah, especially when it falls on Shabbos, that He's not allowed to do those things. So the bottom line is that, you should give extra tzedakah at Rosh Hashanah. Definitely, just to finish off with this. Generally speaking, 48 hours of Rosh Hashanah is a very serious time. It's the time we proclaim God as King. We'll elaborate more on this as time goes on. But the 48 hours of Rosh Hashanah is brought down in a lot of Sfarim that people should say as much Tehillim as possible. They should minimize in talking B'chlal, or definitely not, idle gossip or just whatever it is. The days of Rosh Hashanah is in fact, according to Hasidus, Rosh Hashanah is more serious than Yom Kippur. It's more serious than Yom Kippur because this is the day we're making Hashem our King. More what? Dibur. We're more careful not speaking. We don't do time as Dibur in the Hasidic world. But we're more careful about speaking Rosh Hashanah than on Yom Kippur. Yeah.